Breaking news, the Park Fire is now more than 120,000 acres burned and has jumped Highway 32 in Chico. This is video of that area from a helicopter view. Reference, this is 40 times larger now than the Thompson Fire's burned scar. If you are in the area, evacuation zone, you need to get out as quickly as possible. Also, the town of Paradise has issued an evacuation warning, meaning be prepared to go, just for zones 1, 4, and 9. Those are mostly on the north side of Skyway, but warnings there now reaching the town of Paradise. There are no current evacuation orders there. And again, there are several evacuation orders and warnings across Butte and Tehama counties. And right now we're seeing that fire moving over Highway 32 and also the area of Cohasset Ridge. That's under an evacuation order. Forest Ranch, now that's under an evacuation order as well. But at last check of the maps, the fire has not reached Forest Ranch or Bella Vista. Now, Action News Now reporter Jesse Angelo is live there on Highway 32. Thankfully, a little bit farther down, a little bit closer to the city of Chico right now. Jesse, you were right up there about 20 minutes ago. Kind of had us both pretty worried. Yeah. I think you're in a safer spot, but I see a lot of smoke behind you. Where are you right now?
I'm not that much further away from where I was, but definitely in a safer spot. Where I was, just up the road here, just a little bit, maybe an hour or so. Fully engulfed right where I was standing. All that vegetation just went up so quickly. You know, we talk about evacuating and how important it is to heed those warnings. While I was standing there, it was just a matter of seconds before the heat just got so hot and the flames got so big, I felt I was no longer safe. And that can happen just about anywhere. These embers are flying in. When they hit this dry grass, it immediately combusts, and there is fire where you didn't expect it. I did see fire crews talk to some people who were up here, some neighbors who were refusing to evacuate, and it looked like they were able to convince at least some of them to leave. I still see a few down there that are just watching, thinking, and one of them talked to me off camera saying that they don't want to leave because they don't want to risk not being able to return. So please, if you are in an evacuation order area, get out. It's not worth it, and these things can move just incredibly fast. In fact, right now, even I think I'm going to move a little bit. I'm going to get out of here pretty soon too, because I'm seeing it get closer to me now. Live in Chico, Jesse Angelo, Action News Now.
Jesse, you know, we heard you earlier when you were, maybe you were in a different spot, but you were saying you were setting up your camera and you could just feel the heat out there. I mean, the temperature is so much different when you're that close to the fire line, huh?
It felt an intense heat on my face, and yes, I mean, and the winds were swirling, and just a very unnerving feeling being that close to such a large fire.
Safe, Jesse, and yeah, of course, don't get too close, and thank you for that report. We'll check back in with you in a little bit. Now, the District Attorney of Butte County, Mike Ramsey, says that officials arrested a Chico man for starting the fire by pushing a car that was on fire into a gully in Upper Bidwell Park. In just 3 minutes, we're going to show you exactly where that car is sitting right now.
Now, a live look over the Park Fire from a UC San Diego Alert California camera in Butte County, and just that glow, how eerie that is, and that rightfully so eerie, because this has already been a destructive fire and it's nowhere near over.
That's right. Yeah, it's 6 o'clock and it's starting to look like it's dark outside just because so much smoke is blocking out that sun. Chief Meteorologist Howie Gordon joins us now. You're tracking the wind around the fire. Now, the wind is coming out of the south, but this fire seems to be spreading in all directions.
I was just looking at that. I was looking at the map that you've been showing, Haley. For the most part, this fire is getting pushed towards the north, but as you look at the outer edges, I mean, that could be a little bit of wind change. That could be spotting as well, as these embers can be thrown at times more than 5 miles from the initial burning fire locations, thus starting fires in other areas where we are in a very, very dry spot right now after really having nothing in the way of any rain. We'll start right here with the Park Fire. So we're at 11%. That is a dangerous low relative humidity. Winds I've been tracking in certain areas, but on average, we're about 10 to 15 miles per hour with some gusts at about 22 to 23 miles per hour. Here's a look at some of our hot spots. Okay, for the last 12 hours, they are, or last 24, excuse me, very much on the hot side, but then over the last 12 to 24, you're seeing some of these hot spots on the cooler side. But as I was just talking with Haley a moment ago, most of this fire, going north, but some of the outer edges starting to see some burning as well. Could be spotting or maybe a little bit of a shift of the winds starting to spread it. But for the most part, it's getting pushed off to the north or maybe even a little bit towards the northwest. Some locations, though, yes, the fire is starting to outstretch some of its boundaries. Relative humidity is dangerously low, winds on the strong side. So our environment, yes, very dangerous right now in terms of controlling and containing fires. We're going to talk more about it coming up in just a little bit.
Okay, thanks, Howie.
We continue our team coverage of the Park Fire. Action News Now reporter Sade Poulin is live at the Chico Regional Airport. It is under an evacuation order right now. So, Sade, what are you seeing since we last checked in with you? Seeing a lot of activity as far as firefighting aircraft there?
Yes, Alan, I have seen a few aircraft. I've seen some helicopters and just some fire engines going by along with their water tankers and a few police cars that have gone by the airport as well. Now take a look at this. I shot this video in Upper Bidwell Park hours ago where the fire started. Crews were working hard actively to make sure the fire is stopped. Dan Collins, the public information officer from CAL FIRE, says the CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 3 is now in charge.
CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 3 is in charge of the incident now. We have more resources en route, engines, crews, bulldozers, water tenders. It's kind of spreading in a northerly direction right now. I know there are some evacuation warnings kind of on the eastern part of Chico. So definitely we encourage people to just be aware and to be alert of what's going on around them.
Collins says despite the challenging strong winds and heat, crews are determined to increase the contamination percentage. He said there's also been some more overhead crews to fill in the supervisor roles for this fire. Collins says there is a red flag warning for the affected areas, which makes it more dangerous. But he did tell me that crews' #1 priority is public safety and knocking this fire down finally. Reporting live in Chico, I'm Sade Poulin with Action News Now.
Thank you, Sade. And again, if you're just joining us, the town of Paradise has issued evacuation warnings for 3 zones, zones 1, 4, and 9. Again, they're just warnings at this point. We have a list of all evacuation orders and warnings associated with the Park Fire listed on our website. Now to the man. All right, so first of all, I want to point out that the fire is now almost 125,000 acres. That's another jump from the beginning of this newscast. Now, authorities say this man behind me here, 42-year-old Ronnie Stout, was seen pushing a car that was on fire. It's not clear if he lit the car on fire. It's believed he may have. That's still under investigation. But eyewitnesses definitely say this man pushed the car that was on fire down an embankment at Upper Park Road, starting this destructive fire. Action News Now reporter Camille Acevedo breaks down the timeline.
This 2-door vehicle is completely destroyed from the outside to the inside. And as it sits in the burn scar of the Park Fire, fire personnel crews work around it, putting out any hot spots in Alligator Hole and Upper Bidwell Park. Butte County District Attorney Mike Ramsey says this is the vehicle that started the fire.
Evidence has indicated that that vehicle had been set on fire, whether accidentally or intentionally. A little mushy in the evidence right at this time.
Chico Fire Department crews tell me that they still need to process this vehicle that you see right behind me, which means that they need to go through it and see if they need to collect anything.
Ramsey says the vehicle was a 2007 Toyota Yaris, a small subcompact vehicle, and when arson investigators arrived on scene, the vehicle was destroyed entirely.
And District Attorney Mike Ramsey shares with me more details about the arrest that was just made in relation to the Park Fire.
The suspect is 42-year-old Ronnie Dean Stout II of Chico. Ramsey says a witness had seen Stout in the area with the vehicle.
Was seen with fire in the front of his vehicle, and Mr. Stout, later identified as that person with that vehicle, saw him get in the vehicle, get out of the vehicle, and then push the flaming vehicle down the embankment, and then leave from the scene.
Ramsey says Stout was arrested at a Chico residence at 2 a.m. Thursday. He is currently facing a variety of arson charges. However, it is too early to tell what those exact charges are. It depends on the outcome of the fire. Ramsey says it is still an active investigation. In Chico, I'm Camila Acevedo for Action News Now.
Again, an update for you. This fire has burned just under 125,000 acres. Now, Ramsey tells Action News Now that Stout has 2 prior strikes from the early 2000s, felony convictions, the first for child molestation in Butte County, the second for robbery with great bodily injury in Kern County.
Now, we want to let you know this fire is burning dangerously close. Right now, you can see the fire right up next to our KHSL broadcast transmission tower on Cohasset Ridge. Fire officials say they're trying to protect the tower because this is critical communications infrastructure. I mean, this is right there. I can't believe if you're watching us on Channel 12, to be honest, I'm pretty surprised right now. If Channel 12 goes off air, you can watch us on NBC 24, and we will continue to stream our news. If Channel 24 goes down, we'll also have it on our website, actionnewsnow.com. We'll just keep streaming for you live. And this is also tough to report. So about 30 minutes ago, I showed you this map. It's a geothermal heat imaging map of the fire. So some people have been asking about the community of Cohasset. This is the Cohasset Ridge here. We do see a lot of fire activity there. And then this is what's kind of heart-wrenching to see. We told you how it jumped over Highway 32, a little bit closer down toward the city of Chico area. But what I'm not liking here is Forest Ranch. Let's go ahead and take this full so I can show you a little bit closer up. So this is the area of Forest Ranch right here. And as you can see, so Forest Ranch still looks to be okay, but for example, this is Nopal Avenue. So we're sensing a lot of heat right here. This is Old Chico Canyon Road. That's where we're starting to see actual hot spots. Potentially, we could see some fire happening right in this area. This is Dorette Drive. So the fire line is getting pretty close to that area. Again, still not reaching DeSabla, not into Helltown, definitely not into Magalia. But again, even though Howie keeps telling us the wind is coming out of the south, we are seeing this fire still moving a bit to the south and east, so we're going to continue to cover that and bring you the latest details.
Butte County Sheriff Corey Honey says 100 people had to be rescued from the Cohasset Ridge last night after the fire burned across Cohasset Road. Now, this is video from a helicopter looking over the park fire around 4 today. Sheriff Honey told us that Sierra Pacific Industries, the logging company, opened the gate to a logging road in Campbellville, to allow those people to evacuate safely, which they did.
People of Chico need to pay attention. And it wasn't but a little over 5 years ago that we lost Paradise, a populated area during a fire. I think that it's important for the city, people in the city of Chico, to recognize that this is close. Conditions can change. My office and the city of Chico's, the Emergency Services and Police Department may have to order additional or give additional warnings or make additional orders. Take those seriously. Be ready to go. Pay attention. Just because you're living in a populated area doesn't necessarily mean you're out of harm's way.
If you do need to evacuate, there's an evacuation center at the neighborhood church on Notre Dame Boulevard in Chico. And we have all the evacuation center information for animals, large and small, on our website right on the front page. And this is a live look at the this is a look at the evacuation map, the latest of the evacuation zones. Red are evacuation warnings, yellow, red's evacuation orders, yellow warnings. We'll have much more when we come right back.